Hello, book buddies. This is Miss Evelyn with another awesome story for us. Our friend Curious George is here today. Curious George goes to the zoo. The author is Cynthia Platt, and the illustrations are by H.A. Ray and Mary O'Keefe Young. George is so excited. He and his friend with the yellow hat are going to the zoo. But they're not just going to any zoo, they're going to the Wild Animal Park Zoo. As they enter the zoo, George is so curious about what he'll see. And the first thing he saw was a big sign that said Baby Rhino's first birthday. That's right, they have a baby rhino and today is his first birthday. Everybody walked through the zoo. George tried to go through the gate, but the zookeeper said, No, no, no. We have to get in the zoo car. We drive around the zoo in our zoo car. So George and his friend climbed inside. They saw so many things from the zoo car. They saw giraffes eating leaves from trees. They saw zebras, two ostrich, lions, and elephants. It was an exciting thing to see all of those animals walking around. Then George saw flamingos. They're pink birds with long legs and long necks. George wanted to see them closer, so he leaned over. Uh-oh, George, I think you're leaning over too far. Be careful. Boom! George fell out of the zoo car and onto the ground. Well, he ran straight over to the flamingos and started playing and splashing in the water. Then he saw something moving. It was a baby hippo. George moved away at first, but then the baby hippo yawned and stretched his mouth, and George yawned and stretched his mouth too. He wanted to play. Then he went back to the flamingos and started kicking his feet in the water. But he heard a sound over in the bushes. When he turned to look, he saw a baby rhino peeking his head out. George couldn't understand why the rhino looked so sad. So George started to make funny faces and dance to make the rhino laugh, but the rhino didn't. Soon he heard the zookeeper saying, George, we've been looking for you. You fell off of the bus and we were worried. You get back to the bus this minute. She was very upset. George and his friend with the yellow hat had to go back to the bus, but the zookeeper was very happy that George had found the baby rhino. Before you leave today, George, we're going to have a party. And even though you didn't listen, we want you to come to the party for the rhino. And he did. They gave George a big bunch of bananas. George was very happy for the bananas, but what he wanted the most was a piece of cake. And George got the first piece. I'm glad George had a good time at the zoo today. I'm glad he wasn't lost. And I'm glad they found the baby rhino. So that's the end of our story, book buddies. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, say your prayers and brush your teeth before you go to bed. Listen to mommy and daddy. Be nice to your brothers and sisters. Always say please and thank you. Do your homework and clean up after you make a mess. Be a friend and not a bully. Stay inside until it's safe to go out. And don't forget to wash your hands. I'll see you next time on Story Time with Miss Evelyn. Bye-bye.